Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What up, though? Detroit, it's time for Wake Up Woodward, and we are back in the studio, man. We got the use of this beautiful, beautiful back wall.
Beautiful.
And you know, we're gonna put this back wall to work today, man. We got a packed show as always. Chat, we need you guys on fire. This show, I think we're pumped up to do it because of our chat family.
Of course.
So we need you guys to support. We need you guys to challenge us. We need you guys to agree. We need you guys to hit that like button as well. And guess what? The phone lines are open. That number is 313-552-6322. And you know what, man?
Yeah.
I feel good this week. Especially we got 50-degree weather on the way. I'm feeling really, really good this
We had a
week.
good day at Feldman yesterday. We're back in the home studio.
Yes, sir.
Sponsored by Planet Fitness.
And you know what?
What?
The Detroit Red Wings.
That's right.
They are continuing this push for the playoffs, man. The Detroit Red Wings playoff chase. You guys already know. We're going to continue to cover it. We're going to continue to bring light to it. Broder, tell us about this 4-3 win over the Seattle Kraken in overtime.
Kraken.
Let's
over
go.
the Kraken in overtime. Ben Sherratt with the 4-3 game winner. I believe it was assisted by Dylan Larkin. Lucas Raymond was on the ice, causing defenders to keep an eye out for him. Lucas Raymond actually in the game. He became the NHL leader in points for players 21 years and under. And to take a step in the other direction, Patrick Kane became the third U.S.-born player to reach 800 assists. It was a game. It was a game of milestones all around. The key thing for the Red Wings, though, is getting 2 straight wins after 2 straight losses. After losing to the Oilers, losing to the Canucks, the Red Wings come back, 4-3 win. Goals from Raymond, Sherratt, Sider, and Sprong. Alex Lyon, 38 saves out of 41 shots. It was just another big win over there on the West Coast for our Detroit Red Wings. And this is DMAC. We're calling it DMAC week. I don't know if we have an actual name for it, but we're honoring the legend, number 25, Darren McCarty.
Yeah,
we'll see you guys at LCA on Thursday.
Definitely. That's what I was going to say. We need as many as you people out there and our chat family, our Woodward Sports family. Show up to LCA. We're trying to meet and greet with all of you. We're going to get some special content that will air throughout the week. So as many as you all that we can meet there, as many as you all we can interview, and we can get your favorite Detroit Red Wings moments. And more specifically, your favorite Darren McCarty moments, definitely come out and share that with us. And we're just looking to just talk anything, really. Lions, Pistons, Tigers, just how your week is going and whatnot. But
you know what we have, too?
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident we're doing it today. We might pivot to tomorrow, but around 9:15, we're doing a DMAC-inspired Mount GRINDmore.
Yes,
the
sir.
Mount Rushmore of grinders, of bad
Yes,
boys, of all sports. Who do you associate with a DMAC type player, a grind line type player? This was a kind of a late night idea, so we'll see in break if today's the day to do it or tomorrow, but we're doing the Mount GRINDmore.
I like that because we need to start bringing more of a focus to what makes Detroit sports special. And we know that all of our teams right now, the Lions, they have finally pushed through and gotten to that next tier. And all the rest of our teams are trying on that track. Bless the Pistons, but all of our teams they're trying to get there. They're trying to get there. But what made this city so great and what continues to, beyond just the great fans here, are some of the great players and the great teams that have worn Detroit across their chest.
That's what I'm talking about.
I like that, man. We got to make sure
Let's
we continue to highlight them because they're just as a part of the fabric of Detroit sports.
Just go a little closer to me, a little far away from me, Khalid. There we go. A family feel. We're doing this all live. I got you, bro. What's next?
Hey, we got the Tigers legend and special assistant Alan Trammell joins camp. Tell me about that.
Oh, this is cool. This is just, there's no like real breaking, let me come right in between the Planet Fitness. No breaking Tigers news, but yesterday, legend Alan Trammell went down just to not hang out with the team because he's actually hired as a special assistant for the Detroit Tigers. But a lot of the different beat writers around wrote about him just spending his time strolling around the infield, strolling around the outfield, helping a lot of these both young players and the Major League ready players on that Major League 40-man roster, just helping them improve their game develop their game. Alan Trammell's one of those guys. He's a legend. He's got a legendary mind. He's a great person to have in that building. It's like a Chris Spielman with the Lions. Some of the old guys. I respect your elders. Older time players coming back and helping out the young guys. Look at that. Alan Trammell had one of the best second base shortstop duos combinations in the MLB history.
Yeah, and I love the fact that our former Detroit athletes, and this is why I want to continue to highlight these people, that they continue to come back and show love to Detroit no matter where our teams are currently positioned. But this one in particular, while the Tigers, in my opinion, are on an ascent and having a great opportunity to win this AL Central, I absolutely love seeing Alan Trammell around the Detroit Tigers.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely love it, man. You know what? You got to tell me about the Detroit Lions as we continue to go around the city with these headlines. 5 of 11 ESPN analysts picked the Lions to make the next Super Bowl, and this has been a constant conversation on this show that the Detroit Lions, it's not just us who believe that this team is ready to really take this next step and that they have cemented themselves as more than having just a cute season, but they're going to have long-term success with what Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, shout out to Sheila. And you know what, for the people out there that always say, you guys always forget Mike Disner and you know what? Shout out to Mike Disner.
This is the time. This is actually a huge time for Mike Disner. Yep. Bringing him back. He was getting looks. I believe it was the Washington Commanders.
Yes.
They ended up taking Lance Newmark. But Mike Disner is one of those names on the rise in the front office as a contract guru, a numbers guy. He's the one who's going to – we got all these big contract extensions, free agent signings, homegrown talent being offered extensions. This is a time where Mike Disner cooks.
Yeah, and Chris Spielman. We got to talk about him as well.
Definitely.
One of these are some of the important figures in our front office, as well as these players that have continued to improve since joining this Detroit Lions roster. The stash is elite today as well.
Thanks, dog.
You got to tell me about this, man. The Detroit Lions, 5 of 11 ESPN analysts are picking them to make the next Super Bowl. We've heard them also being touted in some of this national media rhetoric for next year's Super Bowl chase as being one of the biggest threats to the Kansas City Chiefs attempt to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot this week, this offseason already, since the season's ended. This Lions team is poised to make a run back to the NFC Championship game and beyond. And now we see national writers, national reporters, 5 out of 11 of these ESPN analysts pick the Detroit Lions to either get back or make the Super Bowl. All different teams they're playing against. A couple had the Chiefs, a couple had the Ravens. One had a Lions-Texans Super Bowl coming in hot. But just the fact we wanted to point out, they're getting a little more national love for the sustainability that they're building, the type of team that is going to be back consistently. And again, we hit it real quick yesterday morning. This team is still getting better. They are on the rise. Their players, their best players, haven't reached their prime yet. How about that?
Yeah,
How about it?
And this is so much noise for the Detroit Lions. I'm not used to it, man. I'm not used to this at all. But we're also not used to the type of success that they've been having, and the fact that we can look at this team, and this was one of the things I asked the legend Terry Foster at the beginning of the season when he said, no, these Detroit Lions are for real. I said, but are they going to be one of those teams where these other fans are able to look at their squads and say, you know what? Our team is this playoff contender every year. Our team is a contender and a threat to win the division every single year. Our team has a serious opportunity to be able to make the Super Bowl every single year. And you know what he said?
What?
Yes. These are those Detroit Lions, man. This is rarefied air. This is a different time for them, and it's pretty cool to see kind of the national guys jumping on the bandwagon. Now
Definitely.
we already know Dan Campbell said the bandwagon is closed, but we'll still take the love.
We'll still take the love. We'll still take it. Before we get to this last topic, we hit Red Wings, Lions, Tigers. Let's share with our audience what this show's going to be like, and then we're going to get into a Pistons conversation. We're going to start with the 2014, but it's leading into the NFL. There's some historical Pistons talk that has made its way to Las Vegas. How about that? So before we'll intro KG and JB after this, but we're going to hit on this Raiders, Pistons, Bulls conversation coming up at 8:15. At 8:30, we're going to do a little Tigers Tuesday, an intentional Tigers talk. We're going to come up with some name. Let us know. Do you guys like that name? Intentional Talk is already a national podcast name. Maybe Intentional Tigers Talk. Let us know if you have any creative names. 8:45, we're going to talk about a Lions breakout player.
Because I like our chat when they contribute to what we have going on here.
Oh, we're talking
at
names,
Wake Up
coming up with that creativity?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's definitely, man. Let's definitely do that.
There's Mike G in the chat, like that, Mr. Creativity himself. There's so much genius in this chat. Not even just Mike G. All you guys come up with creative names, segment ideas, whatever you. We know the conversations. Now it's just making it entertaining for you. So let us know. At 8:45, we're going to be talking about another Detroit Lions breakout player on the defensive line. Not Aiden Hutchinson, not James Houston, somebody else. And then maybe someone you could pair with him at 9 o'clock from Texas, from the college ranks. We'll see. There's a guy climbing up draft boards. Then at 9:15, this is where our conversation about the Red Wings, about the Mount GRINDmore, maybe Mount Rushmore. Maybe we just stick to all-time wings coming up at 9:15. And then we're going to let the chat dictate the rest of the show. We're going to take calls. We're going to be interacting with you in the chat. Let's keep this rolling. In the sound booth, we got Mr. KG himself, the real KG.
Detroit's number
What
one
up,
draft pick.
What up, though,
How you
man?
doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I got my coffee, so that's all I need.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm in here. I'm working. What's up?
Legend.
Yes,
How about
yes.
this? JB Smooth in the TD booth. Good morning, JB. What's up?
Hey, good morning, fellas. How you guys doing?
Any story about that hat? Was up?
No story about that hat. I'm
Just
just
swag.
up right now.
Love it.
But
I
you're,
got
as
Marco
always,
Vassier over here.
as always, though, the hat game is crispy, Mr. JB Smooth.
And was that a little Jordan greater than LeBron on the
yeah.
hoodie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a conversation we're going to have this summer. I know it.
Oh, my God.
It's my first off season, but I know the GOAT conversation is coming up. But speaking of GOATs,
Yes, sir.
Kool-Aid, tell me about what's going on with this 2004 Detroit Pistons team with 5 GOATs up there on screen.
Yeah, you know what? And I always, whenever I look at this picture, my mind always goes to how great this team was. But my man Tayshaun Prince, I don't know where he was for this picture. That's one of the things that always kind of sticks out. But the 2004 Detroit Pistons, and this was kind of right on time, right on target as well, because we were just talking about Chauncey Billups
Right.
and the 2004 Detroit Pistons just yesterday. We talked about some of our greatest and most favorite Chauncey Billups moments. And then towards the end of the show, the Pistons sent out this press release that they are going to, on March 17th, it is St. Patrick's Day, March 17th at 3 o'clock. It's a Sunday against the Miami Heat. They are going to honor the 2004 Going to Work Pistons.
Ooh.
It's definitely very well needed.
Top
And
of
I
the
know, I
morning
get it.
to
Listen,
ya.
man, we've had some people already in the comments. They're like, yo, I want to go. But everybody was like, man, what a way to try and get fans into that arena. And to be honest with you, all the games that I've covered, man, there's been games where it starts sparse, but by the end of that game, you're seeing exactly why the Pistons are in the top 15 in NBA attendance, because Detroit sports fans, we're crazy. That's why. It's not deserved, but it's who we are as Detroit sports fans. So they don't necessarily have to coax fans into the arena, but if you want to sell that thing out, this is the best way to do it. Bringing back the majority of that team and being able to honor some of the best players and one of the best teams in Detroit sports history, who had in my opinion, one of the greatest David versus Goliath stories in sports, man. The 2004 Detroit Pistons beating the LA Lakers, and they were kind of stacked that year as well. They went and they made intentional moves to try and secure a championship.
But it did.
Karl Malone, Gary Payton, it didn't matter. Obviously, Shaq and Kobe, it didn't matter. I still remember Rick Fox. They were interviewing him and talking to them about, hey, how do you guys feel about this? How do you think it's going to go? They were laughing about it, man. A lot of the media during that time just thought this is going to be a sweep. This is going to be over quickly. And instead, we got our first, what I called, and what they called at the time, our first gentleman's sweep. 5 games. They weren't even supposed to win one. Kobe hit an amazing shot.
That's what it was.
Yeah, hit an amazing shot.
R.I.P.
And you could tell the Pistons weren't rattled, man. There was no rattle in their game. They kind of walked off the court like, yo, we let them get one. I absolutely loved it, man. I absolutely loved it.
20-year anniversary. Man, 20 years since that NBA championship in 2024.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully we don't have to wait another 20, but that team, I'm excited. You said March 17th?
March 17th.
On St. Patty's Day?
Yes, sir. Against the Miami Heat.
You guys celebrate St. Patty's Day?
I used to, man.
Yeah.
As I gotten older, I just gotten to the point where I just had to kind of chill out a little bit.
Yeah, St. Patty's Day. When I was in Ann Arbor, this was the day that our coach, depending on how he was feeling, but I think 3 out of the 4 seasons I was there, it was campus run day for us. It was get our conditioning in. So we had to run. We see all the college students out there having fun in their drinking green beer, getting crazy, and we're running around in our gear, just sprinting around the city. It was a tough one. So until I got hurt my senior year, I didn't actually get to celebrate St. Patty's Day. It's a fun day.
I can
It
imagine.
is a fun
But you know what?
day.
Talking about the Pistons and talking about some of these best teams of all time, obviously the Detroit Bad Boys, they're one of those best teams of all time. When you see Chauncey Billups up there and you see Larry Brown up there, it does bring back shades of memories to Isaiah Thomas and Chuck Daly as well. And how that Bad Boys team played. You want to talk about toughness, man. This is what I'm hoping that this current team and this current rebuild at some point can inject into this current squad, because they need toughness. They need the all-out hustle. They need that ability to play above what a lot of people thought that they were. This going-to-work team and those Bad Boys teams, they defied expectations. They went ahead of what people thought that they were capable of being able to do, and the Bad Boys were the foundation. They were the foundation, man. You talking about all-out tough play. It didn't matter what type of player you were. Isaiah Thomas beat them all. He beat all of the greats of the greats during his generation and during his time to climb to the top. And he's still one of the most underappreciated players of all time.
Of all time.
And that Detroit Bad Boys, that kind of moniker, where they kind of got that, and even the styling that they got it from, man. I think we're going to talk about it in our next segment.
I think we are. That Bad Boys team has made its way to Las Vegas. We're going to tell you about that when we get back. But first, let me tell you about Planet Fitness, because it's home of the judgment-free zone, where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes. And guess what? All memberships include fitness training. You can get it all for just $10 a month. No commitment. That's $10 a month at Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
With an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and you offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They still have the same great service that customers have come to know and trust, located on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Let's drive.
Let's drive.
You know what we can drive, man? Down Woodward Avenue, man. One of the most legendary streets in all of America.
Drive slow,
and we all
homie.
know the importance that has been to Detroit. All of our sports teams play there, man. It's time to wake up. Woodward, what up, though? Detroit, the sun is shining. It's going to be a much warmer week. And we're that much closer to the NFL draft here in Detroit, Michigan. I can't wait.
It's amazing. We got NFL draft. Spring training has sprung. We've got the Red Wings making a playoff push. Pistons won't be there, but hey, NBA draft is coming. We got a lot going on this offseason, but NFL draft, baseball season starting. Those are probably the hottest right now.
Yeah.
But we were talking before the break. Oh, also, if you're here, if you could hit that like button, we would very greatly appreciate that. The Las Vegas Raiders. Did you hear?
Yes,
did you
sir.
see what Antonio Pearce was saying? I believe it was on Max Crosby's podcast.
Yep.
Antonio Pearce was talking about taking a page out of those bad boy Pistons. Kool-Aid first.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I'll present it. Antonio Pearce wants this team to treat Patrick Mahomes as if the Raiders were taking a page out of the bad boys Jordan rules. And I'll let you explain it in more detail, but be physical. Don't let him escape the game you're playing feeling good. His jersey's got to be dirty. He's got to have felt the pain of playing against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit, Kool-Aid, about that Bad Boys team as we transition, as we talk about what this could mean for a football team.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm so glad you kind of sent this article too, man, via Raiders Wire. The Raiders want to play Patrick Mahomes the same way that the Detroit Pistons played. And it wasn't just a defense. It was an all-out mental kind of game that they played with Michael Jordan that made him have to think every single time he set foot in that paint, every single time he wanted to get to a position of comfort, every single time that he thought, you know what, this is mine, the Detroit Pistons took it away. They didn't care about the fouls. They didn't care about how people would think of them. They only cared about making sure that Michael Jordan understood you're not going to get any type of soft treatment.
Yes.
We're not here to worship you. We don't care about who's the face of the league. They, as a team, decided we're the face of this league. And it did help elevate them to championship status. And every time they ran up against Michael Jordan, they did. Not towards the end of their career when Michael Jordan when they were older, Isaiah Thomas was injured. That's when Michael Jordan finally broke through. Every year that this team was healthy, they made sure that Michael Jordan knew who was king, especially in the Midwest. And so now the Raiders, and you talk about this Bad Boys mentality. They actually, during the Bad Boys year, it's just funny, this kind of full circle moment that the Raiders are trying to bring to the table. The Detroit Pistons, they actually took a trip to visit the Raiders, Al Davis and such, and he gave them some gear, and it helped to kind of inspire more of their Bad Boys moniker. If you guys remember any of the Detroit Bad Boys gear, they had the black and silver on. Mm-hmm. Now you got the Las Vegas Raiders viewing Patrick Mahomes in the same sense as Jordan, because who's slowing him down right now? And you know what this reminded me of when they talked about being in his head mentally, emotionally, physically, out-toughing him and giving him something to think about all game? It reminded me of what the Detroit Lions did to Matthew Stafford in this year's playoffs.
Great call. Good connection.
When you looked at it didn't matter about necessarily the sack numbers, but as that game went on, Matthew Stafford, who we all believed was going to have a big game as it relates to passing yards, towards the end of that game, you started seeing passes sail just a little bit. You started seeing him letting passes go a little bit early. You started seeing things that just weren't on target, and you started seeing a little bit less of what we expected of Matthew Stafford because of the physicality, because of how they were punishing, because of the quarterback hits, because of the way that he had things to think about. You could tell Matthew Stafford was hearing footsteps all game long, and that's where my mind went to immediately. That's what I love about our Detroit Lions. If I can kind of rope them into the segment as well.
That's it, yeah.
That's what I'm hoping they bring next year, and it's pretty cool to see Las Vegas Raiders kind of taking a page and kind of doing this full circle moment to make sure that they're kind of push ahead to try and get to the next level. It involves some aspect of that Detroit grind that we all know and love.
And Kool-Aid, just to clarify, this isn't a dirty brand of basketball or football. This is a physical and aggressive brand. It's instead of, love tapping Matthew Stafford or love tapping Patrick Mahomes as these defenders, pressure the quarterback. It's giving them a little nudge, giving a little elbow in the shoulder pads, making sure that they feel little bumps and bruises within the rules. This isn't Bountygate. And to be honest, that was the first thing that went to my head. I immediately thought, oh boy, we're talking Bountygate on Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Roger Goodell is going to be down for that. But the way Antonio Pearce is going to coach, the way he played the game, it's not he's not calling for his players to be dirty. It's calling him to get to a place where when Patrick Mahomes is playing the Las Vegas Raiders, he goes, oh, man, I better get my body right this week, because I'm not going to feel good Monday morning after we wake up. I'm going to spend a lot of time on the ground.
Because the mentality also is that for the Raiders side of it, we talk about what they want to be able to impose on Patrick Mahomes from a mental standpoint and a physicality standpoint, but it's also about how the Raiders carry themselves as well. How many times you might have young players, or you might have even veteran players, who will step into these games and give a certain respect, and sometimes that type of respect, it can absolutely kind of lessen the output that you have against a great player like Patrick Mahomes. You have to go into this game as if you would that, we're here to dominate. We're not here to give you flowers. We're not here to give you roses. We're not here to pay any type of respect. We're here to simply dominate you. And that's why my mind instantly went to the Detroit Lions against Matthew Stafford rather than the New Orleans Saints and that whole Bountygate scandal that came up. This is all about the physicality that we're bringing, and you're not going to be comfortable. You have to bring your A game. Patrick Mahomes is going to have to now think about this, because you think about this, the mentality, it wasn't just game week. Patrick Mahomes has to hear that now, and no matter if right now he takes it kind of as this, oh, whatever, it's just them talking in the offseason, or whatever, it's just the Raiders. I guarantee you as they get closer and closer to that game, this is something that Patrick Mahomes is going to have to take seriously. Now, it's on the Raiders to go out there and prove that they can absolutely be this, because you got to back up your talk. Yep. You can't just say stuff. You can't just go and invoke the bad boy's name, because you talk about one of the best teams of all time, one of the best teams that did it against the best players of all time, not just one of the best players. It wasn't just Jordan. It was a plethora of players that they did this to. It's how they won their championships. It's how they took down Portland. It's how they took down LA. It's how they took down Boston. These are things that we know. So the Raiders, I definitely love the fact that they're giving some homage to the Detroit Pistons and the Detroit Bad Boys, but that means that you got to represent it if you're going to talk about it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Good call, because Corey Berry in the chat says the current Raiders need to let their play on the field do the talkings first. Shad216JF, Flannel's best friend. Shad, you say Raiders rough up Mahomes in the regular season, and then Lions finish him off in the Super Bowl and end his dynasty. I love the thought of that. Above, Darrell Slaughter, I want to... Maybe Kool-Aid, if not, we need to do some research for the next show. Darrell Slaughter said the Bad Boys Pistons were actually inspired by the Raiders. Full circle?
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the beginning. They went and visited the Raiders, and a lot of their kind of, even the marketing scheme with a lot of their gear was given to them by Al Davis. One of the more famous pictures after Isaiah Thomas got hurt is him on crutches in a Detroit Raiders kind of Detroit Bad Boys type
that's
shirt.
What you're saying with the black and silver,
Yeah.
black and
with the black and
silver.
silver. Yeah, they were inspired by it. That's why I say it's a full circle moment. The problem is, I just want to make sure this Las Vegas Raiders team understands that to be able to carry that moniker, to say that this is the type of team we are going to be, you absolutely have to bring it. These Detroit Pistons up here, these Detroit Pistons turn that into championships. They turn this into Eastern Conference Finals appearances. They turn this into Eastern Conference dominance for almost a decade. That's what these teams did. So it's like, if you're going to invoke that, you got to bring it. That's why I love the going to work Pistons. Yeah. Whenever they did call back to the Bad Boys, they knew what they had to represent. That's why I believe Sheed fits so well on this team. That's why I believe that who people used to call scoreless, Corliss, all of a sudden, no. What name rung out even more true with the Pistons, though? The Big Nasty. That's what happened. Guys like Eldon Campbell and even Uncle Cliffy, R.I.P., man, those guys were able to come here and absolutely play a certain brand of basketball. Even though some of these guys were at the end of their career, it was the mentality that they bought into, and it helped this going to work Pistons team win a championship, just like the Bad Boys.
Those two players in particular were huge in helping Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace know how to defend Shaquille O'Neal, one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant athletes in sports.
Lindsey
in
Hunter,
that
Mike
finals.
James, I can't forget them either.
That's one of my favorite teams. They were their own unique brand, but you could feel the Bad Boys in their DNA.
Yeah.
Like, it was there, but they were their own version. The going to work Pistons. KG, after I read this comment by Dan Wood that says LaFlop would be diving at half court against those Pistons with the rules they played under then. Not much to argue from me there. But KG, what are your thoughts on any NFL team, these Raiders, taking a page out of the Bad Boys of 89 and 90?
Well, I think it's dope, man. I just hope it doesn't have the reverse effect, because the Jordan rules actually made Jordan a better Jordan. So you would hope that it just don't make Patrick Mahomes any better than what he already is.
Good
The guy's
point.
already great. But no, like you said, it's not like the Bounty Gate stuff where players were getting paid to actually go out and injure players. It's more of an attitude. It's a mindset, a competitive mindset that we're just not gonna let you come in here and run roughshod. Like, we are gonna defend what is ours, and that's what made the Jordan rules so great and so legendary, is that the Pistons were like, nah, like, yeah, you're great, but we're great too, and we're not just about to let you come in here and do whatever you want to us. Like, we have more competitive fire than that. So I think it's dope, man. A lot more teams should adopt that mentality, and we'll see how it works out for them. I know the Raiders got a little work to do to get back to what they used to be, you know, commitment to excellence and all that. But
damn, Antonio Pearce and Max Crosby leading the way. If you're going to channel the Bad Boys Pistons for a coach and a star player, those are the two on a team like the Raiders.
Absolutely,
it seems like a perfect fit.
I'm glad. I feel like
foundation.
I feel like they finally made the right move in keeping Antonio Pearce. They didn't make the same mistake twice, and hopefully it works out for them. So
yeah, it's definitely a good foundation. You know what, man? Talking about the Bad Boys and the going to work Pistons, my mind goes instantly to who would win in a matchup in a 7-game series between the Bad Boys Pistons and the going to work Pistons.
that's tough.
That's tough, man. Because there is no key player that the bad boys are going to be able to say, you know what, Jordan rules this guy or that guy. Obviously, if you can try and get Chauncey Billups off his game, maybe. But how does that work when you got enforcers like Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace, Rick Mahorn versus Bill Laimbeer, Isaiah versus Chauncey? Are you kidding me?
I got to get an edge to the
Rip
bad
versus
boys.
Joe?
Start working on a graphic. Start working on that's got to be an entire segment.
Yeah.
Man, it's tough, man.
That is tough.
That's tough. Bro,
I'm going bad boys, man.
Bad boys. I think the going to work Pistons got something to say about that, man.
I don't know, man. The bad boys Pistons had a tad more star power, a tad more, along with the tough mentality, the attitude. I don't know, man. That's tough, man.
It's tough because what we saw the going to
They
work
had a
Pistons
better-
do
they had
to
a better
a
bench.
healthy LA Lakers team. I hate to do this, but to a healthy LA Lakers team, you'll know what I mean if you look back at that the bad boys win against the Lakers. That to me showed just a little bit more. You talk about one of the best defensive teams of all time. They went up against the Stars, the going to work Pistons, and they said, you know what? You guys aren't even getting 70 on us. You got teams celebrating losses. But hey, we lost, but we scored 70. That is it's epic.
tough.
We're going to have to talk about this.
It's hard to explain how fun it was to watch that basketball. Like, I feel like I couldn't convince anyone nowadays that watching a basketball game that ends under 70 points would be exciting. But it was exciting. It was like, there was something about how they played team defense. I can't explain it. It was unbelievable. Going for a record, I think 11 or 13 games that season holding opponents under 70. Excuse me.
You're not lying, brother. You're not lying.
lying.
It was epic,
Wow.
man. I know that in today's NBA, though, you see that there is a little bit of, people are kind of getting tired of just the high scoring, the low defense, the low physicality. I think that people are just starting to wear people down.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't personally. I know us here in Detroit, we wouldn't mind a return back to the way things used to be. I do believe that type of stuff favors what Detroit does. It's our mentality. Every time you think about those eras in just NBA history, it always involves the Detroit Pistons. Always does. And that's why I'm so adamant about this current team, before they think about any more talent, before they think about where one of our young players could get to or not, you guys got to hustle. You guys got to play physical. It shouldn't be the Las Vegas Raiders in the headlines talking about, hey, we want to play this way, like the bad boys. It should be our Detroit Pistons saying, you know what, we want to play like the greats. Look at what's going on over the last 3 to 4 years, man. Getting punked. This thing started off with promise. No, they're getting punked. Let's just call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. Yeah. And I know I got to walk in there and see a lot of these people at the press conferences, but I would rather this team know that this city expects greatness, man. And it starts in the heart. It starts with toughness. That's what we saw to the going to work Pistons. That's what we saw to the bad boys Pistons, man.
The one thing missing to me, and I'm not as deep into this Pistons team as you are, but they are missing that identity. And it's the same as the Tigers too. Although the Tigers aren't searching behind to find it. They're trying to figure out with a new nucleus, a new organization, what their identity is going to be like. And there's a couple outfielders for the Detroit Tigers that are starting to help them build it. May be part of this foundation that we're going to talk about next. And we got Lions coming up after that. We're going to get back to Pistons and Red Wings at the end or in the middle of the 9 o'clock hour. But come on back for some Tigers. Let me tell you, though, about Dispo Dispensary. They have some exclusive new deals. They have a team that curates an unbelievable atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. So come through the Dispo stores today or order on dispo-.com. Order on Dispo- their delivery service. Order that today. New year, new deal, same plug. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Is he?
Hey, you guys, are you tired of wearing that same old Detroit sports merch? As KG said yesterday, I know you're still hanging on to that going to work Pistons t-shirt that, you know, it's probably crusty.
Right, deodorant stains.
Deodorant stains on it. You know you need to throw that away. Well, come to woodwardsports.com/shop because we have everything for you. We got the new and the latest Woodward Pistons gear all on the website for you as well. And you know what? You can also get prepared for the next season of the Detroit Lions with the Stoke Not Scared shirt.
Stoke Not Scared.
The Sun God shirt. And how can we not forget about the Meat Missile shirt as well, too? Go to woodwardsports.com/shop.
What up, though, Detroit? Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. Roll with my boy right here, Mr. Matthew Broder himself. It's your boy Brandon Day, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. Listen, I'm gonna give that phone number one more time: 313-552-6322. Chat. We need you guys to stay on fire. Continue to hit that like button to support the crew, man. And let's continue to show Woodward Sports that you guys are the best chat. We got giveaways on the way as well, guys. We're just making sure that we get some things done. You know, all the
Maybe
business
next
stuff
week,
behind the scenes.
All
this, yeah.
Try to kick it off next week, probably.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
the goal.
And definitely, man, shout out to the most legendary booth at Woodward Sports as well. We got KG here, Detroit's #1 draft pick,
You
man.
know it.
I'm so glad to have you on board, bro.
Hey, I appreciate you.
And we got JB Smooth over here. What's up?
What's that?
Yo, bro, I
old
love
Super
the
Bowl
hat,
commercial.
man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Love the hat.
For the Utes in the chat, that was old. When Super Bowl commercials were at their peak, it was Budweiser. Budweiser, though, was it was late 90s, early 2000s. Epic. One of the greatest commercials sets of all time.
Bro, has the quality of commercials just gone down?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bro, we used to have some epic commercials, man. Like,
Epic.
I remember the different Sprite commercials from like all the different athletes and such. Today, it's just like, man,
Obey your
all
thirst.
right.
Yeah.
Obey your thirst,
Yeah.
man. Goodness gracious.
Goodness.
And now you got, did y'all see that Ice Spice one for the Starry?
Yeah.
No, that was ridiculous.
What'd you say, JB?
That was ridiculous. There's no need to do all that.
What was it?
You didn't see it? The Ice Spice Starry commercial? KG,
The
you wanna tell
deodorant?
them about it?
What is it?
It's a microcosm of where we are at as a society. But no, it was just her pretty much just looking good in the video, like just
Ice
not really
Spice.
branding. Yeah, Ice Spice.
I remember she have short hair. Was she up in the?
Yeah.
She was up in the suite with Taylor Swift and Blake Lively.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yep.
I think I
Commercials,
missed
man.
that commercial.
Bring back the old commercials. Bring back the going to work Pistons.
Yeah.
Right? That's right.
Bring back the. What about if we go on the hotline like Pretty Ricky?
You
we
know
got
what?
someone on the
Let's
phone.
bring back
Not
the
that
phone
hotline,
line.
Let's go.
Let's go. Not that hotline.
Not that hotline, but no.
Depends what Pete from Clinton Township wants to talk about.
Yeah, man. AKA pay-per-view is what they call this, man. So what's up, pay-per-view? You on Wake Up Woodward?
What up, though?
I can't hear you, pay-per-view.
wait,
Pete.
Hey, can you
Oh, there you are. Can you hear us?
Hey, how you doing?
Good
Okay.
morning. Welcome to Wake Up
Triple
Woodward.
T. Okay, Triple T Tuesday. Okay, ready?
Let's hear it.
Okay, Triple T. Tigers Titty Tuesday.
Tigers Titty Tuesday.
Triple T.
Yup. That's where we highlight the Tigers' best knockers, the best four baggers.
Yeah, with big knockers. Exactly.
See what I'm doing? Yup.
He did this so serious, Broder's the GOAT.
I'm going down to spring training next month.
Oh, no way. You're going to see a couple games down there?
Yeah, I'm going to see 2 games. I'll be in Clearwater for 2 games. So I'm looking forward to it.
I don't mean to make an assumption, pay-per-view, Pete, but have you been to spring training before? You sound like a longtime Tigers fan.
Yes, sir. I'm 60 years old.
60?
I've been to the 84 Tigers World Series when they won 8-4.
Let's go. You know, Pete, they won that the day my parents got married. They had people leaving their wedding to go watch the game, to go to the game, but it was a huge W. Kirk Gibson, Dave Bergman. That was a special team, the 84 Tigers, their last World Series. Any last comments, Pete?
When they won, it was 8-4, so that's a little trivia question for you.
8-4? I'm going to remember that. How about this trivia question for you? Who was your favorite outfielder on that team?
Chet Lemon.
Chet Lemon. That's a great one, Pete. Pete, thanks so much for calling. I hope you call more this spring. We got to check in with you when you're down at spring training, but, man, we appreciate that. We're going to talk Tigers outfielders right now on Tiger City Tuesday.
Brian Roof in the chat said, yo,
yeah,
that's a sugar daddy.
What?
Sugar daddy Pete.
Pete.
Not the sugar
Wait, what did I
daddy,
miss?
though.
Brian Ruth in the chat, after hearing the name that Pete came over for, he said, yo, that's a sugar daddy.
Knockers.
Sugar Daddy Pete? Is that what you call him?
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view Pete?
Pay-per-view Pete.
Either rocks, man. Oh, my gosh.
That's a great call.
Is Triple T, is that going to be one of the nominees?
That's up there. Right now, it's one of the only options. I saw Trumbull Tuesday from Dan Wood in the chat.
It's a quality name.
There's definitely the comedic value. What was that, JB?
It's a quality name.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't go wrong with titties on a Tuesday.
Over the shoulder boulder holder. Tigers outfield.
What a transition. Wake up, Woodward, everybody.
Making an over-the-shoulder catch in center field like Willie Mays. Actually, I guess he was in right field. Was he in right field or center? Trying to picture the big park. Anyways, finding an identity, this new Tigers team. We're just going to...
We're still trying to recover
So,
from
Detroit Tigers.
Today,
with our credentialed beat writer reporter,
I can't get the movie Little Nicky out of my head.
What?
You know the devils when they're down in hell, they got the
Oh, man.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yep. I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah. But anyways, maybe I need you to tee this up for me, but I'm just trying to run through projected starting outfield. There's a good blend of youth and veteran talent.
Yes.
This is where the Detroit Tigers, one of the units that's going to help them make a turn here at 2024.
Yeah, man, look, I'm excited about these Detroit Tigers, man. I want you to be able to tell me you still got me.
I'm not looking at you. No eye contact.
Look at him.
Listen.
All right, opening day outfield.
You got to tell me about the opening day outfield. Center fielder, right?
I'm projecting whether he starts there on day one, I do believe he's going to be the everyday center fielder once the season really gets rolling. That's Parker Meadows. He played in 37 games last year. He was a rookie last year. I expect him to man. He's one of the best. He's the best defensive outfielder on this team. He has potential to be a Gold Glove winning outfielder. Maybe not this year, but very soon. He's elite. He's got plus talent in center field. He's got wheels. He's tall. He's 24 years old. He hits from the left side. Parker Meadows, he's one of those young guys coming up, helping to turn the tide for the Tigers. In right field, I expect Riley Green. This is Riley Green. From last year, he battled some injuries, but when he played, he was an absolute difference maker for this Tigers team. Riley Green, he's only 23 years old and only 378 bats last year. He hit 288, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs, and 7 stolen bases. Now remember, everybody, he had Tommy John surgery on his right arm, his non-throwing arm. So he's been out for a couple months. He hasn't had the exact type of offseason that you would want one of your up-and-coming players to make. But there is some power in battling through an injury, kind of starting your mechanics from the beginning again. He's expected to take live batting practice down in Florida this week, so that's good news. He's just a little bit behind where every day the regular players are. So Riley Green, I expect him to be ready for opening day. He's going to be playing some right field and some DH. And lastly, over in left field. And again, these two guys, they can switch spots. AJ Hinch can do a lot from a manager's perspective in terms of the versatility of some of these players based on the park they're playing in, based on the opposing pitcher. But in left field, we're expecting Mark Canha, the veteran, the old man of the team, Mark Hanna, to play left field. He's 35 years old. He hit 262 in 2023, 11 homers, 62 RBIs. What he does best is he draws walks and he gets on base. He is a pro's pro, a professional's hitter. So his discipline in the batter's box, his ability to work a count, to get on base, he's there not only to help at the top or the middle of this order to get on base himself, but also help the Riley Greens, the Spencer Torkelsons, Kerry Carpenters of the world learn how to develop a professional approach in the batter's box. So those are who I predict to be your 3 everyday starters likely on opening day. And there are a couple guys that can back up, but those are the 3 I'm picking. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think here? Kool-Aid, KG, JB. Where does your head go first just talking about this outfield?
I kind of like the way that you broke that down. I do, especially with Mark. You're talking about a guy who can come in here. We know that this Tigers team is going to be dependent on where these young players go from here. That's going to be the foundation of if this Tigers team can not just have success this year, but long-term success. And to be able to learn from some veterans, to be able to kind of get and pick their brains, some of the tools and tips of the trade, and be able to see themselves kind of, I feel like this often can help to shorten the time that it takes for these players to be able to reach their full potential, is if they have the right guidance, man, if they have the right players around them. So I like this breakdown a lot, man.
Baseball is one of those sports, and maybe it's because I know it the best, but having a veteran, whether you're a pitcher or a hitter, having a veteran teach you some things, guide you through it, there's a lot of feeling to it, just minor adjustments, whether you're hitting or pitching, that having that veteran experience, knowing what to look for, knowing how to prepare for a game or a pitcher or an at-bat, that's huge. But also with these guys in the outfield, it's going to be a very strong defensive outfield. Mark Hanna's above average. He's maybe your most average outfielder on the defensive end, but Parker Meadows, like I said, has potential to be one of the best defenders in baseball. Riley Green, he's an above average to a very good defender in the outfield too. So it's one of those things. Who could any of them secure the leadoff role, the leadoff hitter role? That might be Parker Meadows. He hit 232 last year. He's got to get on base a little bit more. He can't strike out as much if he wants to be at the top of the order. Could it be Riley Green? We're going to see Justin Henry Malloy, one of their other young players, compete. Not likely for a starting outfield spot, but he's kind of a liability defensively. But he's one of their best young hitters who may be able to fill in spots in left or right field, may be able to back up a little bit at first base. But he's probably going to be sharing some time with Kerry Carpenter at DH. If he makes the Major League roster to start the season, to me, although I really want to see him in the bigs, and this might be a perfect situation where you can start him in AAA, give him a month to get going as one of the leaders of that team, and then bring him up comfortably. I don't know the whole contract, the season, what's it called, the service time associated with him yet, but Justin Henry Malloy, he's one of those up-and-coming Tigers who, offensively, he should be there this year. Yeah. It's what he can do around the baseball field on defense. KG, what are you thinking?
And somebody I wanted to ask you about that's on this list is Akil Baddoo, man. Somebody I've been a fan of. What do you expect from him this year, and what strides do you think he needs to improve on going forward to help this team?
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. He's trying to make this roster. I mean, he may spend some time at the beginning of the season down in AAA again. He's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of tools. He's not really great at any one thing, but he's very good at a lot of things. To me, he's probably a really good trade prospect, some trade bait to the other teams. But if you want to try to fit him in here with this Tigers team, he's probably going to be seeing some time platooning in the outfield. He's Baddoo's a left-handed hitter, right?
I believe,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So when righties are pitching, you may see him play some outfield, maybe see him play some DH. There are times where Parker Meadows may need a day off, Mark Hanna may need a day off. You put him there out in the outfield. He's still a very good defensive outfielder, got a decent arm. So he's just got to – someone like him, he's got to get on base. It does fall, I think, in the offense because he's such a good athlete. He's just got to get on base. He strikes out a little too much. But if he shows he can consistently get on base and do things on the base path, those are the type of guys that A.J. Hinch wants in the game. He wants those guys in the order. So I see him, a 6-7 hitter when he comes in. He's just got to improve in the batter's box.
Yeah, and I'm checking out these chats right now, man. I want to basically definitely highlight that. ADiz411 says Broder loves baseball. Every time we talk Tigers baseball, his face lights up, and he just turns into an absolute machine. I can't wait till we get out there and try and take some batting practice off of the GOAT over here, Mr. Matthew Broder.
Warming up that old left arm. Warming up the old left arm.
Change up you got. We're going to see it.
Yep, the ski mask boy. He says pitching staff isn't bad at all. Charles McClain, I think, kinda will lead off for this team. Meadows batting 9th.
I threw a unique changeup. Sorry, what were you saying?
Huh?
No, what'd you say?
Some of the people in the chat, man, they're getting excited about Tigers baseball.
I love
think that. You have a lot to do with that, especially bringing your expertise and knowledge, not just of the game, but of the Detroit Tigers as well. Man.
You're always going to get the energy out of me. Just let me know as I start rambling and whatnot. Let me know if you want me to get a little deeper, a little more technical, or pull it back and just simplify things. Because baseball is a complicated game. There are things I love about it that a lot of people would think was boring, but I also think there's something in there too that the way I think about it or other players, there's some excitement. Like it'll make the game more exciting. How I look at an at bat, what a pitcher is going to do to set up a hitter. It's easy to predict what a pitcher is going to throw to Javi Baez, but what are you going to throw to a Spencer Torkelson, to a Riley Green in certain situations? There's a way to talk about this. Just keep giving me that feedback. And you're right, that changeup is nasty. I threw a unique changeup in college where I sort of split it between my pinky and my ring finger. Most people would throw like a circle change where you have the circle of the ball around you. We'll find a better way to demonstrate this, but I would split it with my pinky and just throw it just like a fastball with these 3 fingers. I'm a mirror. 1, 2, 3. I got to work on doing this like the weatherman.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. You're always going to bring the energy. We're going to move on to Lions, but each day I think we're going to just chip away a little more Tigers.
Yep. Yes, definitely. And I love the fact that we're able to kind of, from our expertise of playing the game, being around the game, whether we watch the game, because all of us are sports nuts in this room.
Definitely.
And so I can't wait until some of the other content that we have to be able to kind of connect the game on the field a little bit more with our chat by doing some of the stuff you're able to do, getting out on the baseball diamond, getting out into the basketball gym. And I know we got some plans for a little bit of 707 football as well.
And if you've been following the heavyweights or Big D Energy too, they've got a Spencer Rackster. There's a challenge coming up at some point this season. Forget what do they call it?
9 and 9.
Yep. He's got to eat 9 hot dogs and 9 beers, so a hot dog and a beer every inning.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a challenge. 9 by 9 challenge. So we got all kinds of summer plans coming up.
Yeah.
Spenmo, I can't wait to see that.
I forgot who said it, but they said the Tigers have to have a fast start this year.
Absolutely.
What do you believe the prospects are for the Detroit Tigers to have this fast start? They got a little bit more veteran players. The GM and the executive team that they have in this front office, they kind of understand, like you said, the metrics and the analytics of baseball a little bit more. And I do believe that helps to put some of these players in their best possible positions to succeed, breaking away from more of the traditional ways that baseball has kind of been managed and kind of going into a way that's supposed to be able to kind of squeeze almost like the pulp out of orange juice, out of the juice out of an orange.
Squeeze it.
Being able to get the best out of these guys, man. What do you believe the prospects are of a fast start?
It's going to be tricky. Not that they don't have the potential, but at the beginning of a baseball season, a lot of the success falls or comes from early success in the batter's box. I think pitchers have the advantage earlier in the season before the hitters get their timing, before the hitters start to see pitchers a second and third time in a series or in a season. So if they could come out with their young bats, come out hitting, flying around the base path, getting runs early for this pitching staff, I think they have the pitchers to hold opponent's team to a low amount of runs. It's going to come down to if these guys can hit early around the season. So we'll see how consistent, how their at-bats look like throughout spring training.
Yeah.
Wins and losses in spring training really don't matter. We want to see if they're putting together good at-bats, preparing for major league hitters, because that's where you're going to start seeing major league pitching from the start. Opening day, pitchers, teams pitch their best player. Like it's an honor to be the opening day starter. You're getting the other team's best from the start. Are these young hitters going to be ready for that opportunity right at the beginning of the season?
I can't wait, man. This Tigers talk, it makes me excited for the summer. I'm going to continue to say that, continue to stress that. I can't wait to be down there. I know you're going to be down there to cover the actual game.
Yes, sir.
And to be able to get us all the little press conferences, the quotes, all of the important details about baseball. We're also going to be down there interacting with the fans. So just like we're going to be doing at LCA on February 22nd, that's this Thursday for DMAC night, we're going to be making our presence kind of felt and be visible around this city as it relates to our sports teams, interacting with the fans and making sure that you all have even a much bigger part in this platform that we call Wake Up Woodward as well. So we want to see you guys out at these Tigers games all summer. Come and find us. We'll definitely make sure wherever we set up to kind of do these fan interactions and such, that you guys know exactly where to find us. At the Pistons games, it's generally going to be at Portal 5. And as we get into the Tigers, we'll definitely make sure people know. And for the Red Wings, at least this Thursday, you guys find where the Darren McCarty booth is going to be. Come and find us. We will be there. I can't wait, man.
Yeah, and in the chat, Tammy Chin's got all the details for a Woodward Sports Chat meet and greet with DMAC, with the Woodward Sports Chat. She's coordinating everything. We're going to piggyback. We're going to see you guys down there. But Tammy Chin, ask about her in the chat. It's going to be a fun night.
Definitely.
We're going to be celebrating DMAC all week. When we come back, we're going to be talking Lions. Another one of our Lions breakout players in our series of 2024 breakout players. Kool-Aid first. This is something we want this breakout player to do out of the Lions end zone. Want him to stay out. Kool-Aid, can you tell them about Guardian Alarm?
Defense,
baby.
Defense. Before I do that, chat, this is the phone number to call in as we get into this. I want to hear what you believe a breakout season looks like for Alim McNeill. 313-552-6322. And definitely, you guys, hit that like button for us. We appreciate it so much. Hit the like, share the stream, and continue to comment, chat. You're one of the best on the network. But Guardian Alarm, it's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. Again, that's 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's a dope beat, KG.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing. G-A. Oh, sorry. I forgot. There we go. Oh, cheers, buddy. I think we need to get you a pick.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
For 60 years, Fairway Packing Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or order online at fairwaypacking.com. Beef! What up, though, Detroit? Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward with one of the most elite crews in all of Detroit sports. And it's because of these guys these guys, man. Matthew Broder.
Hello.
JB Smooth the GOAT. And we got Detroit's #1 draft pick, KG. I'm your boy Brandon Dan, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. Hey, you guys hit that phone line. Hit the like button to support the crew as well. We appreciate you, chat, as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But now, Mr. Matthew Broder, our Detroit Lions beat writer and reporter for the network.
On the Great Lakes Loons, Steve Wild.
And we got our ball knower as well, man, in there, KG as well. We got to talk about what a breakout season looks for defensive tackle Alim McNeill. Now, look, I don't believe he had a bad season by any stretch of the imagination.
No, he didn't. He had a good
but
season.
I do believe that there's another level for Alim McNeill to get to. What does that look like in this coming season?
I think it could be pretty special. I mean, his 2023 season was very, very good. If you take out, or if he doesn't get hurt and misses those 4 games, he's up there in Pro Bowl conversation. I don't know if he's all pro yet, but he would definitely be in the Pro Bowl conversation. PFF, take it for what you is. They ranked him as the 6th highest rated defensive tackle. Wow. He had 32 tackles, 34 pressures, 5 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, 24 hurries, and 1 forced fumble. He was also the 4th rated defensive tackle in terms of rush defense. So he improved in just about every single category. This is what we talked about going into this 2023 season. He cut his weight down from about 330 to 305, 300. He was much more agile. He still was a force in run defense, but we could see him start to get pressure up the middle. I think that's an area they need to address in the draft. But I also think Alim McNeill is, like we said at the beginning, just getting better. He's yet to hit his prime. He's yet to hit he's yet to put the pedal to the metal and reach what he can be. So I think the 2024 season, him breaking out is part of this mix, part of this reason of Brad Holmes. He's going to make strategic offseason acquisitions. I expect Alim McNeill to have a monster 2024 season.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what, man? I like everything that Alim McNeill brought to the table, especially as he got healthy. And I see KG was over here just kind of nodding in agreement, man. What are your thoughts on this?
Hey, absolutely. And I was so hurt when this guy ended up going down because he left so much on the table. He was possibly trending towards having double-digit sacks in the season, man. But you talk about what he does in the run game, absolutely stout down there. But it's not just the run game. It's also what he does in the pass rush. And you think about he's doing this without no real interior line help. It's been mostly him, but he's made improvements in so many areas of his game. And now he's finally getting back there to that quarterback, helping Aiden Hutchinson, a guy like Aiden, be able to get home as well. So I'm excited for what this guy does, especially if you slot another really good D tackle next to him, even a subpar D tackle next to him. Yeah, any kind of help can help this guy take that next level, man. And I expect him to come out. Hopefully he can get back to what he did at the beginning of the season, this past season. And we'll see what happens. But another year in this scheme, a new D-line coach, I expect big things from Alim.
Absolutely.
Definitely. You know what? When we talk about what the Detroit Lions need to do to kind of take that next step, not just to kind of plateau, not just to kind of win the division, flame out in the playoffs, or after like maybe a game, you see that the national pundits are putting the expectations that this Detroit Lions team can not only get to the Super Bowl, but absolutely win the Super Bowl and be a major threat to Kansas City. Not only what Brad Holmes does through the free agency and through the draft, it's going to take what these players already on the team can do to step their game up just another notch. We're not just talking about, because we all would agree, a good season from Alim McNeill. We're talking about him going from really good to absolutely dominating, to where this defensive line can become one of the surefire strengths, and not just strengths, but I believe of what they have in terms of free agency money, what they can do in the draft. If these players take that next step, you're talking about one of the most elite defensive lines in all of the NFL. Yeah. And I do believe that that's something that this defense, that this Lions team will be able to, no matter what they do in the defensive backfield, with the corners, with the safeties, whatever they do to address that, no matter what they do, I believe that right there will be one of the key things to making this defense one of the tops in the entire NFL.
Yes, and I believe that the Lions are committed to building it just that way. They addressed the offensive line first. They made sure that offense, the trenches on offense, including tight ends, including Sam Laporta, is as good as possible. Their next step is making that defensive line elite. And the development, the progression of Alim McNeill is exactly part of that recipe. It's part of the ingredient for them being one of the top. They're already one of the top in rush defense. Now it's just about getting pressure to the quarterback. It's about shrinking the amount of time that their DBs, whether they have 3 number ones and a bunch of veterans or a bunch of number 3s and 4s and rookies, if they can shrink the amount of time that secondary has to cover the really strong wide receivers across the entire NFL, that's where it all gets better. And Alim McNeill, we've seen when he plays well, the Lions win. He has dominance in his DNA. Like his ceiling isn't just a very good defensive tackle. His ceiling is one of the elite defensive tackles in the league. And I think he has that in his future. And what I said when we were talking, when the Lions were in the playoffs and we were doing keys to all the games, usually probably 99% of my keys to the game on one way or the other is either the Lions preventing pressure from up the middle or trying to get it on defense up the middle. There are mobile quarterbacks out there, but when any quarterback in the NFL gets pressure in front of them, that makes their job 10 times easier. Yes, they can scramble to the outside if they have the ability, but it's hard to see over these monster offensive linemen, these huge defensive tackles coming up right in front of you. It's hard to make your reads when that's happening. Everything just speeds up. So it's the one thing that was missing. They got to get sacks. They got to get pressure on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. But as long as they're getting pushed from the inside, they're winning off the line of scrimmage from that middle position. Maybe this means Broderick Martin's development's coming. We don't know what Brad Holmes is about to do in this draft, but they got to figure out a solution in those interior defensive linemen.
Yeah, because I believe that if they do that, if they address this need, I believe we will see Alim McNeill's 20th rated in team pass rushing. I do believe we will see that take a leap forward. When we talk about this Lions defense last year, we talk about kind of some of the things they needed to improve on. Obviously, the first thing everybody's going to think about is the cornerbacks. But when you talk about this defensive line and the fact that we've seen guys get into the backfield and not complete the sack, we're not just talking about over pursuing. We're not even just talking about the pass rush kind of getting into the backfield but being just a second late. We starting just with the fact that they got to the quarterback sometimes and just didn't get the quarterback down. Then you talk about the fact that sometimes they would over pursue. Sometimes they would allow some of the not necessarily mobile quarterbacks, but the ones that had a little bit of wiggle to be able to kind of get outside of the contain, outside of the pursuit, and get to the outside and make passes. When I think about that Jordan Love game, the one where they came into Detroit and beat us, that's one where I'm hoping that a player like Alim McNeill and whatever Brad Holmes decides to do to improve this defensive line can absolutely make it a little bit tougher on quarterbacks like Jordan Love and like Brock Purdy, because I do believe that those are going to be two of your biggest threats in terms of quarterbacks this season in the NFC. Those are going to be two of your biggest threats to absolutely keep the Lions down. You're talking about in the NFC North with Jordan Love, and you're talking about if you get back to an NFC Championship game, I would not be surprised to see the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers paired up again.
Yeah, I'm with you. And if we're looking to compare him against some of the other top defensive linemen, defensive tackles, Dexter Lawrence, he was the top-rated DT according to PFF. He had 65 pressures, 6 sacks, 14 QB hits, and 45 hurries. The sack leaders, Justin Matabuki and Chris Jones, both had 14 sacks, and the pressures leader, Aaron Donald, had 84 pressures and 60 hurries. Leader in that too. So I just want to see Alim McNeill. To be honest, I don't care as much about the sack number, although he go from 5 to maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 would be fantastic. But I want to see those pressures, maybe not double, but maybe go up, 50%. He's got 34 pressures. If he can get over 50, you're just getting consistent pressure. If he's consistently in the backfield, Aiden Hutchinson's getting home. Whoever they draft or sign on the opposite, maybe Danielle Hunter, he's getting home. So if he's getting pressure, good things are going to happen.
Bro, we got to talk about Danielle Hunter as well. We have to. At one of these kind of later shows, we definitely have to. That's a player who, the more and more we kind of go through what the Detroit Lions need, that's a player that I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's one of those keys. We know that a type of player like him, whether they identify a different player who can bring that type of, ferocity, or whether they go through the draft, that type of player could absolutely unlock this defensive line.
It could. I'm going to let you notice it, but this read just falls perfectly in terms of the show sheet. Tee it up for me, because we're talking NFL draft. Who could we put next to Alim McNeill?
Gotta get a big boy.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
Pause.
Big boy, I got that. I got that. Come on back. We're talking a defensive tackle prospect for the Lions in the first round. But wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmigiana or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about breakfast? They got the stuffed potato pancakes, including the classic, the lumberjack, or the Santa Fe Garde. Also new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. You got a sweet tooth like I do. You can top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Football season is officially over and spring training is here. However, Jack Labrador is 24/7, 365 days per year. You can learn now how to play on your phone at jacklabrador.gg. They got 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. This game's a lot of fun. The Jack Labrador guys are awesome. You got to go check it out. Go to jacklabrador.gg. And remember that once you go Jack, you never go back.
What up, though?
Yeah, that's
Detroit.
aggressive.
Welcome back, Woodward. We continue talking a little bit of Detroit Lions, and we talked about an actual Detroit Lions player in Alim McNeill. I know that we're going to be talking about as well Brian Murphy, defensive tackle of Texas. But first, I'm going to be able to read a little bit of this chat, and while I do that, I want to definitely throw out the phone line again so you guys can call in and give us your takes on any of the topics that you've heard today, especially the one that we're going to be discussing. But 313-552-6322, and I need you guys to hit that like button. We're getting that much closer to 100 likes, man. You guys have been phenomenal over our 2 weeks as a show so far, man.
It's wild.
Absolutely love it. It is wild.
I'm so excited to be doing this. We're just going to continue to try new things. It's going to be a fun morning. I hope this is the best 2 hours you start your morning with every day.
Every day, man. We're going to definitely put in the work to make sure that this product, it reaches that next level. It's not just us sitting from the sidelines talking about what our sports teams need to do to get better, but it's also going to be about what we do to try and make sure we get better every single day, because we serve the people. We do, and we serve everybody on this platform as well, man. I want to be as great as I can be for what the work you put in, the work that JB puts in, the work that KG puts in, the work that Sam puts in, Terry, Stick, and everybody behind the scenes, our graphic people.
Ryan, Noah.
Yeah, Brady and Griff.
John.
Everybody, man.
Klaus.
John, Klaus. Shout out to John as well, man.
Roman.
Roman, everybody, man. And we got some updates coming, man, for this back wall. We got some production aspects coming to this show. I can't wait. I'm excited. We won't tell them about it.
You can't give away our secrets.
So next week is gonna be a little bit of upgrade, man. We're trying to make sure that we continue to set the standard as a show here at Woodward Sports Network. But it is Wake Up Woodward, and I want to tell you guys about some of these chats, man.
Yeah, read some.
Detroit Grit, we're not going to overpay a player right now unless it's a contract extension for our own. And I think that that's more of a testament to Brad Holmes in the way that he has set things up for this Detroit Lions team.
Take care of your own.
Take care of your own. Shad, 216JF says, overall, I see 2 cornerbacks and at least 1 D-line acquisition this offseason. Brian Roof, if you watch this year's games, almost every down Hutch was a half a second from a sack. Give that man that split second he needs to get home, and he'll have a 20-plus sack year this coming season. Hey, thank you, JZJ. He says like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
Thank you guys, chat. We need you guys to definitely continue to support. Let's get us closer to that 100 likes mark, and then let's plow straight through that as well, man. You guys have been the best. Randy Smalley, he said, it's weird that I'm not worried about Lions offseason because when it's done, we will be praising them. And you know what, man? That speaks to my heart. You're talking about an offseason in which we just know that the Detroit Lions are going to make all of the right and necessary moves, and they're going to get to that next level. That's the crazy thing. They're already good, but we all have high hopes that this team is going to make all of the right decisions to put this team in an even better position going into next season.
And we're still going to be talking NFL draft. We're still going to be doing mock drafts. We're still going to be speculating on who they're going to pick. But honestly, it means nothing. Yeah. Like Brad, we could predict all of what Brad Holmes is going to do, and he's going to do the complete opposite. Yep. There is no telling. I got all faith in him. It's fun to talk about it and speculate, so we're going to do that. But Brad Holmes, he's going to throw a wild card at us on draft day.
Yes, sir. And Detroit Grit, our last comment before we get into this segment, he says,
caller.
Daniil Hunter is that
Bring him home.
guy.
Bring him home.
You know what? That might be my free agent dream. Regardless of what Brad Holmes does, I will trust whatever he does.
Yes.
And if it's Daniil Hunter, I will really be ecstatic.
I don't know if it's the right fiscal move, the right financial move to do, but if I had it my way and you wanted to go for it now, you go for it with Daniil Hunter. He helps out that defense so much. Pay the man. That's why I'm not the GM. So maybe don't pay the man, but pay the man.
You know what? But that's a conversation to be had. Maybe we need to talk about that because you talk about a Super Bowl window, and this is where Brad Holmes has absolutely earned the right to say, you know what, you guys got to follow what I do, because we all believe that their window to even get to an NFC Championship game depended on or rested on their ability to do something at the trade deadline to bolster this team. And clearly, how many of us were kind of wrong in that assessment because they had enough, and Brad Holmes and his team proved that. And I believe that they did cash in making sure that these players made sure, you know what, we hear the outside noise, we hear what people are saying, they're saying that there's not enough on this team, but instead the team actually stepped up, and we saw the Lions win 2 playoff games and we're 20 minutes away from a Super Bowl. That isn't a testament to Brad Holmes, definitely. But with the Super Bowl window like this, what we saw the LA Rams do when they acquired Stafford, they didn't just stop there. They went and they sold out completely to make sure they could have the best that they could have to go out there and win a Super Bowl. This is where I'm very interested to see what Brad Holmes' philosophy is moving forward as it relates to maximizing and taking complete advantage of the Super Bowl window. But one of the cool things is that we know that this team is fully prepared. Fully prepared. KG, any thoughts before we hit the phone lines?
Nah, but we can go ahead and get to the homie Eduardo on the line. Eduardo, what's
up,
going
Eduardo?
on?
One of our regulars.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Dad.
Good morning.
What's up?
Listen, so I just wanted to. So we had 3 different topics today. I wanted to touch base on Kool-Aid for starters. I feel like the Raiders already started their little bad boy thing. I don't know if you remember, but Christmas Day, that was the Chiefs' worst game of the year, and the Raiders basically made Mahomes their B. The B word. So they've already started it.
Yeah.
I was watching that game with my family and I was dying. I want to mention the Tigers, right? I am not a Tigers fan. I was born 10 minutes away from Yankee Stadium, so I support the Yankees. But this is what I want to see from them this year, guys. When they go and face, the Orioles, the Braves, they go down to Texas, or, they play the Dodgers. Can you win 2 games in that series, Yeah. Can you sweep them? That's are the kinds of things that I want to see from, the young Tigers team as they prepare for, because I feel like they're in the position that the Lions were in last year. A division that's weak and you're a young up-and-coming team. Can you come up to the challenge when you have to face the big dogs,
Yeah.
And then lastly, when we're talking about breakout players, do not forget about the contract year bump. listen. Jalen Johnson was not good up until this past season.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Matabuke was not good up until this past season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players show up on their contract year. That's why, if we're looking for any breakouts, we should just look at people from the 21 draft class, because those players always tend, or just in general, like if it's your contract year, they know that they're playing for more money, they tend to show up. And lastly, we should pay Alim this season because if he gets 10+ sacks, he's going to command way too much money. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys have a great day.
Eduardo, great
appreciate
call, man. Appreciate you calling in. That's a good call. You made some pretty good points.
Yeah, absolutely. And a loyal member of the chat, loyal fan of the network. Those, whether it was Tigers, whether it was Raiders / Pistons, or the last comment about be careful of some of these big-time free agents who have been in a contract here. This is when they play their best. And there's a lot of truth to that. Terry Foster brings up a lot. You're paying guys for what they've done in the past versus what you need them to do in the future. They're two different things. A lot of guys know with the payday on the line, the off-season prior is their best workouts. They're eating the healthiest. They're putting their money into their body to make sure that this season is their best. The question is whether they keep doing it once they have success and money.
You know
Which is also a reason why Alim McNeill can honestly be the top breakout. As Eduardo said, hey, he is in his contract year right now. He is coming off that, rookie contract. So I definitely think he is going to put in a lot more work than we all expect him to. I know definitely for me, because last season I projected him to be the sack leader of this team. But obviously he got injured and the season didn't go as well as, it planned for him. But he still had 5 sacks within those 13 games.
Yeah.
And as you said, brother, those pressures too, they still matter. They still add up and matter. I definitely think this year will be a top notch for him to get that big deal coming off of, who knows, maybe a 10-sack season.
John Henry makes a great point. He says, great call. Yes, watch out for those Albert Hainsworth types. That's as good of an example as you could give John Henry. He made a good point. Alim McNeill coming into his contract year, you also have to decide if you're going to pay him too. Like, we haven't been talking about Alim McNeill getting paid. He's going to earn some dough.
Yeah, and you know what I was going to say, because Eduardo made a really, really, really good point here. I think as a part of some of the segments that we cover, I do believe if we covered some of who's the value picks, who are the guys who we could absolutely kind of get on this Lions team right now, probably play a little bit above their value right now, and be kind of one of those sneaky Brad Holmes type picks where these guys are going to come in, try and earn their payday ahead. I do believe that those
Anzalone
type. I do believe that those types of players, obviously we're going to look at who the top free agents are in the market. We're going to look at who we think can step onto this team and have absolutely just knockdown numbers based on who they've shown themselves to be. But who are the diamonds in the rough? I think that that's a segment that we definitely need to cover so that we have all of our bases covered, all of our, all the field covered.
Diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
Diamonds. There's a title. There's a segment in there.
I do. I want to be able to do that because you're right. There's a lot of other
classic.
I believe that there are some players out there that go beyond your big payday guys right now. The ones that are going to command big contracts. And Brad Holmes has shown that he's one of those types of guys. When you talk about free agency, that absolutely can identify those guys. So we can definitely continue to profile because we don't know what Brad Holmes is going to ultimately do in this free agency. Mm-hmm. We can profile the top guys, but I also think we should put on more of our Brad Holmes thinking cap too. In a specific segment.
You know what would help? Both Alim McNeill, Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, even Broderick Martin continue to develop. Maybe it's a star defensive tackle by the name of Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy, the second out of Texas.
Hey.
This is one of those players we're going to highlight for a couple minutes as a possible likely target to trade up maybe in the first round. He's projected, and PFF mock drafts are all over the place. Sometimes he falls to the Lions at 29. Sometimes he's in the 30s or whatever, but I think he's going to be a mid-teens, early 20s pick. He's one of the more athletic defensive tackles in the league, 6'1", about 310 pounds. I really like the idea of him coming in, he's a different type of defensive tackle than Broderick Martin. They're still going to develop him to be that run-stuffing, massive force in the middle, but they need to get more pressure from that defensive tackle position alongside Alim McNeill. And I think Byron Murphy, the second, out of Texas, can do just that. He's got experience playing against a Tavondre Sweat, who's another option the Lions may be able to find in the second, third round. I view him, although he's great and I'll be happy with it, more in the Broderick Martin type category. But Byron Murphy is a stud, a 21-year-old junior. He had 6 sacks, 3 QB hits, 36 hurries. Got a thick lower half. Yeah, I said that. A thick lower half. He's very proportional. Great pass rusher, good with his hands. He's just, I think the one knock that I continue to find about him, he's got short arms. He's only 6'1", so it's not huge. But his short arms, it makes it a little more difficult to get leverage right off the line of scrimmage. But he's won by being explosive off the snap. So can he keep that going up? Can he get stronger? Can he get quicker? Can he get more twitched up, as Frank Ragnow likes to say? That's the question. But I like Byron Murphy as a possible first-round target for Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions. What you think about that, KG?
Hey, I like it a lot. This guy was absolute revelation for Texas. A more athletic D tackle, like you said, not the Broderick Martin prototype, but more like somebody like a Leonard Williams, like I wanted them to pursue in free agency. Somebody that can, that has more of that twitch, that has better footwork, that can help in the pass rush. Not just the run game. So, yeah, I think this would be a great pick for Texas. I mean, a great pick for the Lions in this draft. But you probably got to move up for him. He's not falling to 29, I can tell you that. Definitely.
And I see some comments. I just asked ADiz411 in the chat. He said no Texas defensive players. Is there a reason for that I'm missing? I'm just getting into my draft research. Let me know. But I just like how he played next to T'Vondre Sweat, his upside athletically, the type of defensive tackle. He may be more like a Josh Paschal type, and I don't want to say a Josh Paschal ceiling, a Josh Paschal type of interior defender where he can play a little bit on the outside. He can play that edge position if you need him, or he can play nose tackle if you need him. But I really like him lining up next to Alim McNeill, just like he lined up next to T'Vondre Sweat. Ryan's reaction says, I'd love to get Byron. I just have this mentality where I don't get nice things. Shift God says, he's nice, but I'm on the JPJ train. That's Jackson Powers Johnson, the center/guard or interior offensive lineman out of Oregon. That would be a home run at 29. I'm a big JPJ fan. You may even move up to go get him. I don't know if he falls past 20, but we were having the Alim McNeill conversation. Yeah. So we wanted to keep this going with, all right, he might break out. Do they target a defensive tackle in the draft? Do they pay for a defensive tackle in free agency? What's the strategy? This is one of those guys. They could also be looking for Jerzon Newton out of Illinois, Chris Jenkins out of Michigan, Braden Fisk out of Florida State, T'Vondre Sweat out of Texas. Those are a couple other names from the interior defensive lineman perspective coming in the NFL draft, projected in the first 1, 2, T'Vondre Sweat, 3 rounds. Thoughts? Detroit Grit, JPJ 15. Yeah, he might not make it past 15. The real Kate Collins free agency will fill up all of our defensive needs, and I think Brad Holmes will have the pick of the litter when it comes to the draft. Best player available. Hey, I'm rarely opposed to the best player available strategy, even if a wide receiver one of the top wide receivers falls. I personally want a bigger I want a wide receiver 6'3" and taller. Yeah.
If it's not Marvin Harrison, you should.
Yeah, like Rome Aduze is great. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if he provides much more. I don't know if he's as different as Amon-Ra and Josh Reynolds and formerly Marvin Jones and DPJ. I want a big, deep threat or a Xavier Legette, a Johnny Wilson. 6'7" out of USC, Johnny Wilson. He's a little raw in route running, but I want one of those tall guys like a Mike Evans. Yeah. We're not going to have that conversation right now. That's heating up all over social media. Maybe we have that tomorrow. But that type of player, someone who can go up and get the ball, he can be a red zone threat. He can just stretch the defense in a different way that Jameson Williams and Khalif Raymond can. Just your straight line, big dude.
Yeah. Now, when you're talking about Byron Murphy, we're talking about a player who we believe can absolutely bring the pressures that he did as defensive lineman of the year in his conference. And he was able to kind of get pressure into the backfield. This is the type of stuff that we're talking about, being able to help and to free up the types of double teams and the types of chips that Aiden Hutchinson was seeing all season long. How do you believe he directly affects what Aiden Hutchinson would do if he was on this squad?
I think it affects it a lot. We're talking about that pressure coming up the middle, especially if you pair him with Alim McNeill or another strong defensive tackle. That guard on it would be the right side of the offensive line, can't just go and double Aiden Hutchinson every single time. You got to help out with Alim. You got to pinch over and help out with hypothetically Byron Murphy II on the left side of the center, or wherever they put him. It's just less resources that you can devote to Aiden Hutchinson, so you just have to use a tight end. You just have to chip him. That leaves a lot more open for Aiden. Or if you want to go double him, then Alim McNeill has even more space to work. He'll probably be getting one-on-ones. He can win a one-on-one. It's the other guys that weren't able to win their one-on-one matchups in 2023. So just add in more firepower that they got to devote resources to on the offensive end. That just makes the high motor guys, the guys like Aiden Hutchinson, that much less time it takes for them to get to the quarterback. Aiden Hutchinson's sacks will go up by at least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, because we're talking about Byron Murphy being one of those guys. Earlier in the chat, somebody said, give Hutchinson just that extra half second that he needs to actually complete the sack rather than the over pursuit, rather than the spin move into the backfield, and then he's only getting the QB hit, which, that still matters as well. We saw how that affected teams this year as well. But if you could actually get the sack, if you can actually push teams back out of field goal range, if you can actually complete, because they had a couple times this season to be able to get a safety, and they just missed. They did get the pressure from the outside, but they didn't necessarily get the pressure up the middle that I do believe that a player like Byron Murphy would be able to bring. Just kind of looking at his tape, looking at how quickly he gets into the backfield. They talk about his low pad level. They talk about some of his measurables, wondering if on that defensive line, if that's something that is going to potentially steer some teams away. With Brad Holmes, that's not the type of stuff that he looks at. He looks at the type of player that this guy is, the type of mentality that he brings to the table. And ultimately, I do believe with this defensive line, aside from trying to get somebody on the other end of Hutch, I do believe when you're talking about going and trying to find not just value picks, but the right types of picks, a guy like Byron Murphy could fit the bill. He really could.
Absolutely. I want 2 of those defensive tackles at the same time, synchronized swimmers.
At the same time.
Yes. Let's move on. I think we're either going to talk about this Red Wings Mount Rushmore or CJGJ. We're going to make a decision for you during the break. But Kool-Aid, what are you talking about Swiss Insurance?
I will tell you about Swiss Insurance. Look, man, but I got good news and I got bad news. The bad news, I'll give it to you first. It's that insurance rates are going up across the board in Michigan. Surprise!
Right.
Yeah.
The good news is, though, Swiss Insurance is here to help right now more than ever. It's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com. Tell them that Woodward Sports sent you.
Tell them.
Hey.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy. You're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Awesome.
What up, though, Detroit? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. The chat has been electric. The calls have been on fire. Need you guys to definitely continue to support. Hit that like button on the stream. It helps us out here. It supports us. It lets us know that we're doing a good job. And as well as continue to stay active in the chats as well.
You guys have been awesome.
Yep. That phone line, once again, though, is 313-552-6322. And before I went to break, you kind of teased this next segment. Your D-Mac-inspired Mount GRINDmore. And this isn't Detroit specific. This is just kind of all time, those players that you believe kind of fit this mold of grit and grind. I want to hear yours because I want to be able to share a Detroit-inspired one as well. But
yes.
I want to hear yours first. Definitely let the crew kind of react to,
yes.
to what you got.
So I'm going to give you my Mount GRINDmore, inspired by Mount Rushmore. But this grind line inspired, this D-Mac inspired Mount GRINDmore is going to be, interpret as you please. I interpret it my own way. You know, bad boys, grinders, enforcers. However that hit my head, I got a couple examples. We're going to have the guys here in the room create their own list again tomorrow. Also, you in the chat. Start putting in some good ideas. Maybe tomorrow we might talk about this a little longer. But for example, here's my Mount GRINDmore, my top 4 grinders. I'm going to start with Dennis Rodman. It's a Pistons bad boy. I think he just emulates exactly what you need out of an enforcer, a D-Mac type player coming in and just laying the wood, man, doing the dirty work, getting the rebounds, getting the blocks, covering the best backcourt or front court player on the opposing team. We're going to go Dennis Rodman. Then I'm going to go Roger Clemens.
Okay.
Clemens, the Rocket. Something about the way he pitched, he was a bad boy. Like, that's a bad boy. He threw heat. He threw up in the upper 90s to 100. He threw inside. He was one of the first, not one of the first, but one of the best, most elite pitchers that work in the inside of the plate. That's intimidating as a hitter. He's not scared to go hit the inside of the plate, back him off a little bit. He might hit a couple guys. He might get into it with Mike Piazza. But Roger Clemens, that's a bad boy.
Yeah.
From the football standpoint, I'm going to go Hines Ward. Hines Ward on my Mount GRINDmore of sports. That's just a physical wide receiver. It was hard picking these 4, by the way, but when I think about a football player not named Ray Lewis or Ed Reed or some of those defensive type stoppers, I think of Hines Ward as the one on the offensive side of the ball doing the dirty work. You know, maybe now that I'm talking about a David Montgomery type player, just one of those bruisers. Frank Ragnow. Oh, man, I didn't think of these last night. This is another direction you could go tomorrow. Then finally, I'm going with Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace. So I don't have any other Red Wings. I kept them off. I'm going to leave that to D-Mac. But Ben Wallace just led to a championship, did all the dirty work, rebounds, blocks, anything you wanted. Not much of an offensive game, but as important to that team from 97 all the way to 2008, 2009, 2010 as anybody. So there it is. My Mount GRINDmore, Ben Wallace, Dennis Rodman, Roger Clemens, and Hines Ward. Reactions?
Nice.
That's a great list. It's nice, man. My first reaction is when you're talking about an all-time, including all sports, kind of across the annals of time.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got at least 2 of these Detroit guys represented here on this list as well, man.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
love that, man. Ben Wallace and Dennis Rodman. You're talking about the anchors of 2 of some of the best defenses in the NBA and probably sports history.
Yes.
You got to have those guys in there. And Hines Ward, man.
Man, I instantly thought about the crackback blocks. Like, he was the innovator of the crackback, man. Oh, my God. I love Hines Ward.
How about this? Dan Wood says Dino Cicerelli. Big Show picks. I see a lot of Red Wings. Big Show picks Dino Cicerelli, Sean Avery, Probert, and Drapes. Zeke from Denver, Blair. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Rodman for show. Ben Wallace. Mad Max. Hey, Matt Stafford. Randy Smalley says Gordy. Bob Lanier. Joe. Darren McCarthy, of course. Yeah, baby. Dan Wood. Ronnie Lott. What'd you guys think of... Do you guys have an opinion on Roger Clemens? Did that make sense to you? Or?
It does make sense.
Okay.
It does make sense,
okay.
man. I think sometimes it's a little bit more tough to identify that with baseball.
Right.
But if there's going to be somebody on the show that will be able to identify that with baseball, I know it's going to be Broder.
I got you.
It's going to be Broder. And you want to talk about our probably our Woodward Sports GRINDmore. You know what? Broder is one of those guys too, man.
Yeah. I'm going to try.
Roger Clemens is nice. There's a lot of bad boy pitchers though,
right?
That you can go to. So
like Kyle Farnsworth.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and cook up something tomorrow.
Cool.
You know what?
Nolan
I have
Ryan.
our Detroit. I have our Detroit Mount GRINDmore as well. I do.
Hit me with it.
First, can we put up the graphic because I want to show you guys at least some aspect of our Detroit sports Mount Rushmore as well. Just kind of some of those best players across all of the different sports teams in Detroit. Who do you guys think embody that? And we got to get into that a little bit later too, and maybe kind of take this thing by eras too, maybe by decades. But my Detroit one, I'm gonna save one guy for last. Darren McCarty.
Yep.
Ben Wallace.
Yep.
Chris Draper.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm gonna let you guys pick. Who do you think is number 4 on this list?
What's the
it's
sport?
a guy who it's football, and it's a guy who I don't think gets enough love when you're talking about Detroit sports history.
Corey Schlesinger.
You're Lomas?
Chris
What about
Spielman.
Lomas?
Ooh.
Huh?
I said Chris Spielman.
Ooh.
That's a great one.
Ooh.
What'd you say, JB?
I said Lomas Brown.
That's another great one.
Lomas.
And when I say
Long.
this name, you guys are gonna be like, oh.
Give me a decade. 90s?
The 90s?
90s. On defense?
Yes.
And Dominican Sue. No.
Nope.
He was barely born in the 90s.
The Detroit Lions all-time sack leader?
Robert Porsche?
Robert Porsche.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Shout
I
out.
don't believe that Robert Porsche gets nearly enough love
Nah, he doesn't.
that he deserves,
No,
man.
he doesn't.
Robert Porsche, he rounds out my Detroit GRINDmore.
He was the original, the freak to me. Javon Kearse. Javon Kearse came in, or he was known as the freak in Tennessee. I want to say late 90s, early 2000s. Robert Porsche was that in Detroit.
That guy,
Just
man.
an absolute
Imposing.
animal.
Imposing, man. It's just like, I remember I met him one time, and it's like everybody looks at their father as that Superman. My dad got the opportunity to meet him at kind of one of these, oh man, what is it called? The auto show.
Yeah.
And my dad was in the automotive industry. He got to go to kind of some of the events before the actual auto show got going, and we met Robert Porsche. And to see my father next to Robert Porsche, I was like, oh my word.
Yeah,
like this
big
guy,
man.
you talk about an imposing figure. Nice as all get out when you just kind of meet him on the street, but when he was out there on that field, man, he was somebody that was absolutely nasty. You want to talk about somebody who would absolutely embody what these Detroit Lions are today?
Porsche.
It was Robert Porsche, man.
Yeah.
Robert Porsche.
I love that. KG, we got a caller.
We do. Devin from Inkster.
Devin the dog.
Yes. What's up, Devin? You on
Morning.
Wake Up Woodward?
What up, though?
For my Mount Rushmore, my man. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. First off, killing it. Week 3. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Hey. So, my Mount Rushmore, we got 2 Lions players. How about Dirty Dominican Sue? Stepping on ankles. He used to step on ankles, put hands against the ground, and he didn't care about a flag or nothing. He made sure they knew his ass was coming through that hole and calling names.
Yeah, pause.
And then you got to put Calvin Johnson up there, man.
Yeah.
That man took hits that would make anybody eyes roll. He was looking like Matthew Stafford all season, and he still made sure he caught every last ball and made sure all of us as kids, we knew that at least the Lions will win one day. So I give those 2 the props because, man, they laid the groundwork for what we are today, and the work that they put in, you can't deny them. No matter what, how it ended, man, those 2. But that's all I gotta say, fellas. I had to pitch in. I was like, I don't know if my chat gonna get through, so let me call in right quick.
No, Devin, we appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that, man.
Yeah, Devin, thank you so much. We appreciate the call. That's a great point. I'm probably not putting Kelvin on the Mount GRINDmore, although he's a grinder in his own right.
Yeah.
Sue is definitely worth consideration, and Kelvin is on my Mount Rushmore for sure. Like, he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
But in the Darren McCarty type role player, enforcer, bad boy, I say this with all due respect category. Kelvin might not be in that, but he's on the Mount Rushmore. Sue is probably on that Mount
But
GRINDmore.
in Detroit, there is enough space to include everybody because of the different styles that they played. You did have your stars. You did have your dirty work guys. You did have your role player guys. And they all bought in for the sake of a championship. They all bought in for extended playoff runs. That, to me, that's why we can do a plethora of these types of lists. And I do believe that you're going to kind of get different answers from a lot of different people because Detroit sports has had a heck of a lot of good players, man.
Absolutely.
A lot of them, man.
Absolutely.
And the chat is lighting up as well.
Yeah,
with a lot of
Xavier
them.
D, Mark Aguirre, Mitten Mates,
that's a
Joik
good
Bell.
one.
Hey-o. Stephen
Bill
David,
Laimbeer.
Bill Laimbeer. He was one of the first off my list. I couldn't go Ben Wallace, Dennis Rodman, and Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah.
But he certainly belongs on there. Laimbeer. Golden Tate. I like that.
Yeah.
Randy Smalley, Benny Blades, Bob Probert, Dennis Rodman, Kirk Gibson, Kirk.
Yeah.
Kirk probably belongs on there.
Yeah.
Look, he might be a little too good, like a little too much of a star.
All right.
But man, Kirk,
we gotta
seeing him
talk
go
about
around
this,
the.
man.
I know it's for the Dodgers, but seeing him go around second base with the fist pump after hitting that World Series home run,
epic. Yeah. Hey, Xavier D. He said Chris Spielman, Chris Chelios, Jack Morris, and Lindsey Hunter.
Xavier D's got a bunch. Xavier D, Alex Karras, Amon Ra is headed that way.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that was fun. We're gonna do some more like that tomorrow. But we're gonna get to what's trending with JB Smooth coming out of the break.
I'll wait. I'll tee it up. I'll wait.
He's coming. Pause.
Jesus. Get tired of pausing this guy.
He's working out.
He just on fast forward, man. You can't pause this guy.
Fast forward. That's about to be his nickname too.
You're right.
Matt Broder, aka Fast Forward.
I like that because fast is not something I've ever been associated with. Actually, when I used to train, when I was training more, they would call me one speed because it was just the same slow. I'm not a very fast runner. Just the same slow speed.
Look, man, you one of the best at this network, so we're gonna start
mouth
to change
goes
all the
Yeah,
narratives.
fast mouth.
Fast
Pause.
forward. I like that. Double lefts.
It's moving on. Premier Pet. Speaking of fast, keep them on a leash, or dogs are going to run away, especially around the 4th of July. Oh. That's why you got to feed them well, so they always come back to you. They always know where the most delicious, nutritious, and healthiest food is. That's at home if you're shopping at Premier Pet Supply.
Yeah, man. Look, Premier Pet Supply is where I take my lion to get the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Same prices on all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers, with one major difference. It is family and locally owned and operated for over 30 years. Hey, that's what I hope our Wake Up Woodward is going to be, man. Definitely, because this is a family, and we got plans of not slowing down anytime soon. But over 60 brands of food and nutrition experts to help you same day, local curbside, and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best at www.premierpetsupply.com.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With over 18 locations, there's sure to be a location in your backyard. You just got to visit feldmanauto.com to find that location nearest you. They host us and Big D Energy at their Novi dealership every other Monday. That's partly why Feldman Chevrolet is Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, yo, welcome back. What up, though, Detroit? It's Wake Up Woodward. I am thankful and grateful that you guys decided to spend your morning with this crew. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, Matt Broder, a.k.a. Fast Forward. That name is sticky. We got to get the merch.
I see
We're
you.
getting the merch, Fast Forward over here. And you know what, man? Mike G said JB Smooth is a grinder. Pause. But he is, man. He is Woodward Sports' MVP. Shout out to JB Smooth. And we got KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick. Not Kevin Garnett, but our KG, man.
Damn right.
We don't care about KG anymore.
We don't.
Except for this one. Not Kevin Garnett, but this KG.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Kenneth himself, man.
Thank you.
We love it. We love it. We love it. But it's that time, bro, for the most electrifying sports segment in sports entertainment. It is. JB Smooth. What's trending with
JB?
Jay Bizzle. Sorry.
What's going on, fellas? So I got a couple videos today. I don't know. There's a couple directions that we can go with this one, but let's start off with last night. And you know what? What is better than a good old-fashioned college basketball fight?
Oh, Texas A&M Commonwealth versus Incarnate Word.
Yeah, I have no idea either one of these teams, but apparently they got into it last night. And
do they have college boxing at these schools?
Yeah, it got kind of wild.
Oh,
like, I don't
so
even
the coaches
know.
going down?
Oh, we on the floor.
Coaches, players, refs, everyone's trying to break everything
Hold
up.
on, man.
I don't understand what this fight was over at all. But yeah, this happened last night.
One guy's in the fray and doing absolutely nothing, dog.
Right. Just a whole bunch of pushing and shoving. That's where the fights are today. He's just pushing and shoving.
I mean, that's me pretty much.
Oh,
Just say,
this is literally.
I bet you won't
They
hit him.
covered the whole court, man.
And it's just about everyone in the arena is on the court. All 37 people.
Hold on, you gotta
All
play that.
37
You gotta
people.
play that again, bro. This
You wanna
one
play it
guy.
one more time?
One more time. This one
Check
guy
this.
was
Who are we
doing-
looking for?
Yeah, he got trucked.
Hold
bro.
on, where is he at, man? He got the blind top. Where is he at? You'll see him. He just kind of runs into the crowd and continues to run away.
Is he a player?
No,
I saw a
no,
punch.
one of the coaches. I'll see when he walks into the shot. He just, he's in the back. He's kind of in the back right now. You see him back there?
Coming on
With
the left
blind
side?
top? Yeah. Look at him. He just. Hold on, watch. He comes back into the shot and it still doesn't do anything. He's just kind of in the frame,
You're
but
right.
not quite. Look at
Oh my God.
I bet you won't hit him. Bet you won't hit him.
Right.
I'm just going to let everybody
My
walk
man's
in
got
front of
trucked
me.
right there though. Yeah. Oh my God.
Jeez.
Trampled.
Jeez,
Trampled.
dog.
Only thing missing is Meta World Peace up on the scorer's table.
Yeah,
Just
just
hanging.
laying down while
Just
all
lounging.
chaos is going on.
Lounging like a French painter.
I'm just glad it wasn't Juwan Howard this time. Just thank God.
Yeah.
Just thank God.
Yeah.
man.
That blonde guy was like when you're starting pitcher for the next day, he's ready to pitch and the dugout's clear.
Yeah.
He just got that person's just supposed to stand in the back.
I'm here for emotional
pretend.
support.
Yep. Hold down. I got you, but don't actually touch anything.
Yeah, don't touch me, but you
Yeah.
know, I'm here to help out with any way I can, just not in the fighting aspect. But all right, moving on. Now I know it's just us guys here in the studio, but I need to know: is this fair or foul if you're out with your lady and she puts this as the tip?
Don't say it.
What?
Damn.
Don't call my husband sweetheart.
And the total 25-17.
Wow.
Damn.
So I
With
gotta
a heart,
ask,
too?
fellas, is this fair or foul if you're out with your girl and she does this?
Hey, I'll allow it. Hey, I'm not gonna stop her. I'm not gonna stop my girl from doing that. So
On one end, it's like, dang, that's savage. But then on the other end, it's like, it's savage for me, though.
Yeah,
Like, it's
exactly,
like, hey.
So was that two fairs?
I don't know, man, because if it's at one of my favorite restaurants, I don't want that to cost anything. If it's at her restaurant, then I'm definitely like,
Right.
cool, let's rock.
it depends on the waitress too. Like, was she giving you the hey, sweetheart? Was it like how deep was it? Like,
Just determine
Was it-
just sweetheart. Like, here's your plate, sweetheart.
But does she get to that point because we're also kind of inviting it as well?
oh
loving it?
yeah,
Are
you
we
know,
shutting it down?
us
or is it
dudes, we like any
oh,
type of attention. Sweetheart, baby, honey, hey, bring it on to me.
Chat,
Can I get you a fish sandwich?
Y'all
Damn
gotta put
right.
fair or foul, man. Fair or foul. Would you want your significant other looking out for you that way as well?
Foul. I'm going foul 100%. And I know I'm the
Says the
token
single
single
guy in the room.
Yep, I'm the token single guy. But no, bro, actually, it's today National Hospitality Workers Appreciation Day.
Oh wow,
One
That's
of the
not
days coming
hospitable
up.
to the workers.
I put this in the show prep. One of these days.
hell of a day.
It is. It is.
Of course.
Hey, Mike
course
G
it's
said-
today.
Of course, it
Mike
is.
G said if she called me sweetie, she getting 30%.
Yeah, real
Seriously, like, first off, you got these. They make their money off of tips. You got to tip them. If you're saying sweetheart, unless she was like really flirting, she's just trying to be nice.
It depends on how deep the flirt was.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not enough to not tip a waitress who at least has a happy attitude, a good attitude. There's plenty of grumps out there. If you got a good one, give them minimum 20%.
Broder, you gonna scribble that out and tip her anyway?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna leave $20 cash. Right? What was it? $25.17.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave $10 cash.
See, black folks can't do that. Our girls will cuss us the hell out.
Listen, dog, these chats,
What?
dog, this is crazy.
Foul.
Dan Wood, she calls me sweetie, I'm giving her the tip.
No,
Wait a
Jesus.
second.
That
Wait a
might
second.
be-
Let's shoot
Wait
it.
a second.
Just a tip.
Yo,
James,
That might be something else.
Hey,
James
yo.
Wood, red flag, dump her ASAP. She's just trying to be friendly. That's Dante.
Thank you.
There's a national day for everything.
There
It
is.
like
just
seriously.
the tip.
I thought there was going to be one or two, like one national day. You Google national days. Or what, there's 7, 8 each day. I'm like that takes it out. That makes it less worth it.
Yeah, that's way too
I
much.
got to shout out Kennedy Broadwell, man. Thanks for the support.
Kennedy!
One of our
Shout out.
legends
Shout
here,
out
man.
Kennedy.
Yeah, she is, man.
She's
Great
one of the
person.
OGs sitting in that chair,
Oh,
sitting in
yeah.
the Kennedy chair on at the beginning of this network.
Great professional and even greater person, man.
Facts.
We did a lot of street team stuff for the Lions back in the day when Woodward Sports was just kind of getting going. And it was kind of cool to kind of see her in her element, interviewing fans, and really having a lot of fun with the interactions. And then what she did here on the network as well on the morning show. Kennedy is definitely somebody, one of the people I definitely miss on this.
Kennedy is
Shout
trending.
Yeah.
Trending,
Definitely.
Kennedy. You got anything else, JB?
I got one last video for you guys. And
Oh,
I
boy.
just got to know, man, how hard were you throwing this dart? Come on.
Wait, what?
Oh shit!
You missed the whole board.
Right. Who puts a dartboard next to a window?
Great point. A glass window.
Right.
He didn't even throw it that hard.
He didn't know. That's a weak window.
And that's propped up in. What?
Who's laughing too?
It's a weak ass window.
Terrible. Just terrible. But
Who
that's it
puts
for
a
what's trending.
dartboard
You
next to a
guys.
This is
window?
an epic one. Yo, round of applause for JB.
Never have I ever seen a dartboard near a window.
I haven't either. That's just odd. I
Yes.
don't understand that.
I know
Not
if
a
I've
good
ever
choice.
seen a dartboard on a tripod.
Yeah, that either.
Yo, JB, you gotta show KG's face, bro. This man is so disappointed right now.
Just common sense, people. Why are we putting dartboards next to windows? Just common sense, man.
Yeah, you know what they say? Never throw darts at a glass house.
I
Or
guess.
something like that.
Rocks at a glass house.
The rock.
Oh my
Rocks.
goodness, dog.
You want some crack?
We gotta go, man.
We can't go before mailbag. By the way, JB Smooth, what trending with JB Smooth? Love that. You guys got any questions for us? We're goofing around this morning. What's trending that we just had? Hit us with some mailbag questions. If you guys see anything, send them my way. I'm going to start scrolling. Oh, Kennedy Hart, Tier, Friends.
Hey, definitely, man.
LYL. Didn't that used to be Love You Lots?
I
Back
think
in
so.
the SMS days with the flip phones?
Yeah.
LYL. Yep.
Oh, when are we
Sweetheart.
dropping merch? John effing Lord. Hey, listen, we were talking about that with Stick at our last meeting. I know we got our next Wake Up Woodward meeting tomorrow after the show, and we are talking about definitely doing a lot to be able to, because we definitely need the coffee mugs.
Yeah,
we definitely need that.
We
need the
talk about a
shirts.
lot. We just got to do it. We're actually
Yeah.
having planning meetings to get this done, get stuff ordered, created, get that all worked out. Because there's so many ideas we have. Almost every show
I got one.
across the shows we haven't executed recently. We're about to execute.
We got to get you an unpausable shirt.
Unpausable.
Yeah, we need
Oh,
it fast
I like
forward,
that.
bro. Unpausable, fast forward. Matt Broder, aka Fast Forward.
I like this.
Yeah,
I like this. And
Definitely
we-
getting the Kool-Aid going.
Now my mind is one. This is where I can start going.
Especially with the draft coming
do
up. We need the
emojis.
number 1 draft pick right here.
Hey, you know it.
We got to find a way to announce a pick.
Then our MVP over here.
How do I
yeah.
get that 4th round pick? Me and Amon
You know
St.
what?
Brown.
We're gonna, you know what? Before this show ever calls it quits, and hopefully we get 30 years. You know, like, hey, shout out to Mike Stone. We got to make sure that Broder is up on that stage one day announcing one of these Detroit Lions picks.
Got 2 months.
Let's do it.
Oh, you trying to do it this year?
Hell yeah, I'm trying to do it this year. It's in Detroit, baby.
Ain't no time to wait.
Yeah, bro. I want to.
I
No,
ain't mad at
4th
it.
round pick out of the University of Michigan, center Zach Zinter.
Hey, shout out.
I don't know how to pronounce the name. How about it?
Hey,
I saw
and a Michigan man.
What was that?
And a Michigan man.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind that pick, is later on in the draft.
Yeah.
We'll get more into that. We're gonna either do mock drafts starting Friday or next week. With the combine starting up, we're gonna start digging in a little more into the draft. Obviously, there's only so much we know before the combine, before we really see what some of these prospects are like, their skills, their times, all those attributes. So we're gonna dive into a lot more. But there've been a lot of Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers topics. This is how we're trying to build the show. Hit on all 4 sports. So I'm just excited. This offseason, we got them all clicking. I saw a mailbag question in here for you two, for the Booth Boys.
Yeah,
where did it go?
definitely.
Eduardo O'Neill, mailbag for KG and JB. And you have to explain this acronym to me. How would y'all feel about these 2 MTB winners, Dom and Tiffany? I think they should throw the world title on Dom for a few weeks. He's a Heat magnet. Explain that to me.
Wait.
And
Say
give
that
an
again.
answer.
Say that again.
Yep. How would y'all feel about the 2 MTB winners, Dom and Tiffany?
Dominic Mysterio and Tiffany Stratton?
I'm going to say yes.
I like Tiffany Stratton. I don't know about Dom as the Money in the Bank winner, though. I don't think he's ready for the big time just yet.
Is that what MTB means, Money in the Bank?
Yeah. So it's like a briefcase that guarantees you a WWE championship match anytime, any place. So, and I don't think the Money in the Bank is for a couple more months anyway. But, I wouldn't like to see Dominic Mysterio just yet. He still has to work some things out in the ring. I do like that he's starting to get his own direction now, and he's kind of got the Dirty Dom thing going now pretty well. But he has to work on his promos and a little bit on the in-ring stuff. But JB, what about you, man?
I say work on his promos. They won't even let him speak.
Yeah,
The crowd just boos him every single time he touches a microphone. But I don't mind Tiffany Stratus winning Money in the Bank. As far as Dom goes, I'm not a huge fan of him at all. Like, I just think the whole their whole gimmick is probably just going downhill. I really think they need to break up as it is right now.
Yeah.
I feel like they would all do a lot better on their own single career, especially Rhea Ripley right now too. And I still want to see Finn as a champion as well. But
Yes, man. They've been doing Finn dirty.
I just think their whole group just needs to break up right now, the whole faction.
Also, Jade Cargill for Money in the Bank. Let's make it happen.
See, I ain't got no money in the bank.
Yes.
Was that a little scrappy?
Yeah,
Fit Young Money?
Money in the Bank. Yeah, that's a throwback, man. They used to have that on the old wrestling games.
They really?
They're actually trying to buy that too for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view thing.
Hey, that's a classic, man.
Can I, real talk, can I get copyrighted just for saying that on air?
I don't think so.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. Money in the Bank is pretty broad.
Okay, good. Last one to finish the day. This is a question for JB from the legend, Mike G. Mailsack. JB, interpret as you please. What's your finishing move and what do you call it?
Oh, this is definitely plausible.
Yo.
This is plausible.
What are we
I'm
talking
unpausable.
Yeah, well, you are.
Fast forward.
A wrestling finishing move? I don't know. I always like Goldberg's jackhammer or Stone Cold Stunner. So
Nice. That's classic.
yeah, I gotta go with either one of those two.
Do you have a name for it? And I don't want to put you on the spot. We can think about this. We can brainstorm for tomorrow. But do you have a JB-related name?
Ooh, I do not. We'll definitely have to brainstorm that for tomorrow.
Chat. We all got to work together.
Hey, I got it. The technical drop.
The technical drop.
Because you a TD technical drop. Yeah.
I do like that. I like that a
Yes,
lot.
I got you. I do this
guys
shit
are
in my
epic.
sleep, man.
The technical drop. KG, man, that's why you're Detroit's #1 draft pick,
You
man.
know it.
Number one, never
This
lost.
has been an epic show, man. It's been an awesome time. And I know that we only have the aspirations to get better and better and better. We talk about the Detroit Lions Super Bowl aspirations this year. We're talking about Wake Up Woodward and our aspirations to bring you guys the best morning show in all of Detroit, sports or not. And we got some great characters here, man. Once again, I definitely want to shout out our legendary booth here. We got JB, the MVP over here, Mr. Technical Drop himself. I like that. We got Detroit's #1 draft pick over here, Mr. KG in the sound booth. And we got Fast Forward over here, Matt Broder, a.k.a. Fast Forward, man. I like that. I like
clever.
that.
I like
Our
that, too.
Detroit Lions and Tigers credentialed beat writer and reporter, and it's your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid.
Credentialed Pistons beat reporter and beat writer. I got you, dog.
Let's go, man. And lover of all things Detroit, man, or else I wouldn't quite be Detroit Kool-Aid. Hey, let's get that final pitch going, man.
Oh, there we go.
The close.
We got to do something new. So I've realized this might be our last one. There's no way to look manly and throw a baseball 5 feet from each other.
Yeah.
So we're going to reconfigure this. But
That's big
Way
facts.
to do this.
there's that.
Let's go.
I'm gonna throw a pitch to end it. You just gotta take a dot.
Thank you guys for supporting Wake Up Woodward. You guys already know we got another packed show on the way for you tomorrow, so get ready. Please be sure to hit that like button on your way out, because we depend on what you all do for us just as much as you guys depend on us to try and bring the top tier content, laughs, camaraderie, and more. We appreciate you guys being here, man. What up, though, Detroit? This has been Wake Up Woodward. Let's go.